Welcome to episode 11 of A Knitter's Life podcast. We're here, I am trying a little new setup because it's so gray today, and we're recording during Arthur's nap time, so I don't know if this is going to work. We might end up having to have two different parts of it, but anyways, here we are again. We managed to squeeze in another episode, and welcome! How have you all been? It's been so much fun to get to know some of you on the Ravelry A Knitter's Life podcast group. We now are up to 289 fellow knitters, which is so much fun. It's so good to see you guys there. And I started a thread for what are you working on, and that to me is the best fun, to see what you guys are up to. I don't want to comment too much because I don't want to mess up the thread. I want to be able to see the pictures, but just know I am so excited about all the things that you guys are working on. Feel free to comment. Maybe I should just comment, and who cares if the thread gets all junked up with comments. It's just so much fun to see what everybody is working on, and that thread is actually a giveaway thread. So if you go over to the A Knitter's Life podcast group in Ravelry, post in that thread what you're working on. It doesn't have to be completed. It can be a work in progress. We just want to see what you're working on. And then on November 31st, I'm going to draw for a winner. So I think I have some yarn to go away, and then I have some soap by the lovely Tuft Woolens to give away, just one of their sample bars. So that will be so much fun. But anyways, there have been a few of you who have posted in the introduce yourself thread, and I'm so grateful for you for doing that. It's so neat to hear different stories of people, and to hear how you learned how to knit or where you live. We all live in such interesting places, which is, it's just neat. Stormarella, Susan, welcome. I wanted to say welcome to you. Italia Shay, Anna, SV Cassie, welcome. SV Cassie, I recognize you from Instagram, I think. And Saratoga Knitting, welcome. Paula from France, welcome, especially to you. You mentioned that you may not understand everything, and that's okay. Sorry if I speak too fast, or but welcome. Thanks for trying us out, and thanks for joining the group. And it's just delightful, and your honesty is so delightful. So welcome. Knit away, Andrea. Oh, Andrea. She said that she lives well, they own a marina, and so her and her husband, and so they take care of the marina, and you must see so many interesting people coming in on boats. And my Uncle Bill from Maine, he is my mother's brother. He lived at a marina on Long Island for a while. He lived in Maine, but then he and his wife got a houseboat, an old 1930s houseboat, wooden boat, and he and his wife lived at a marina in Long Island, and we would go and visit them, and it was so much fun. He would find a friend who had wasn't using their boat, and he would sleep over. He and his wife would sleep over at their boat, and then we would sleep on the old wooden boat, and it was just, I mean, the experience is phenomenal. Sleeping and eating and cooking on a boat is just wonderful. So he also owned, Uncle Bill also owned a beautiful big sailing boat. And once when I was little, well, when we would go to visit in Maine, he would take us racing, because he raced. My mom and her brother grew up racing on Long Island Sound. So he continued, of course, when he was a grown-up and lived in Maine, he would race. And I remember being really little, and they were racing, and we were going so fast, and the boat was tipped like this, and I had life jackets on, and we were tucked away in the back at the railing, and we were told to hold on to the railing for dear life. My sister and I were wedged together. My sister's 3.5 years older than I, so we were holding on for dear life, but the boat was like this when we were racing so fast, and it was just such an experience. There's nothing like being on a boat. Then once he took us camping. Well, he took us on that big sailboat out to an island, and we had a big bonfire on the island, and we cooked on the island, and then some of them camped on the island, and we stayed on the boat. So it was such a grand adventure. I mean, I wish I could have done that more. But anyways, that's a tangent. Sorry, I get off on tangents. So Andrea, knitting away, welcome. You brought back wonderful memories. Blue Luster Cat. Oh, you sound like such a wonderful, creative person. Welcome. So glad to have you. And Diane A19, you live on hopefully I'm going to say this right, Whidbey Island. That sounds so wonderful. She did say that they have 4 yarn shops on the island. Can you imagine? Oh, all the just, I don't know, that would be the best. To live on an island and have 4 yarn shops around you. So, welcome. It's so nice of you to introduce yourself, and if you've joined the group and you haven't introduced yourself, don't feel like you have to, but it's so wonderful to get to know people, and it's nice to have a community, so thank you. Well, what have we been up to? Well, this is now quite a while ago, since we're in the middle of November, but Halloween happened, and my little 5-year-old, John, who is a kindergartner, he was very excited about Halloween. I think he kind of likens it to Christmas, but with candy, and so he was so excited. He wanted to dress up as a pirate, so and hopefully I can insert a picture of him dressed up as a pirate at the beginning or the end of this episode. But I got, you can go out and buy an outfit, but what's the fun in that, right? You have to make these costumes, and I thought, this is why people love Halloween. We didn't grow up celebrating it, so I'm gaining my experience. This is why people love Halloween, because you can be so creative. So I looked up several things on Pinterest, and then I went to Goodwill, and I got a striped black and red striped shirt, and I got some black pants that I made cut ragged, and I got some black felt, and I cut out a template, and I covered his rain boots with black felt so that they had this big top that came fluffing over, just like big boots that a sailor would wear. And I got a colorful silk scarf from Goodwill that I tied around his waist, and then my mom cut out a cardboard saber, a big sword, and then I used silver duct tape and red electrical tape for the handle, and then silver duct tape for the sword part of it. And I bought a hat, a pirate hat, so he looked the part. Now, on Halloween night, it was frigid. It was rainy, and it was snowy, and it was sleeting. It was miserable. So the poor kid had to wear a coat, and but I thankfully had a wool pea coat that he could wear, so he really looked the part. Then I took some black eyeliner, and I made a mustache. He looked so cute. But our thing was, we were going to hand out candy. He dresses up and he hands out candy to the kids who come to our neighborhood. But then I learned that my husband had to be away that night for work, and I was so bummed, because you just need someone to stand at the door and help. If you have 2 kids, and Arthur was going to have a bedtime in the middle of handing out candy, and I couldn't imagine leaving a 5-year-old to answer the door and hand out candy, and anyways, it's always a bummer when your husband has to go away on a Friday night, and because you're at the end of the week and you're just tired. I was thinking my mom couldn't come over because she was busy, and so I asked my younger sister, and she said, well, we're going to hand out candy at our store down in Fountain Square, and her husband are opening a local food store. It's a specialty food store in Fountain Square, which is downtown in Indianapolis. It's a neighborhood in Indianapolis. And we're so excited for them. It's a great opportunity. Emily's husband really is passionate about local food, and he has a great background for putting this shop together. So we're really, really excited for him. And it's not open yet, but when it is, I'll let you guys know. So those who are local can go visit it. But it's called the Wildwood Market, Groceries and Provisions. And he's going to carry some really good cheeses and meats. So it'll be something to look forward to. But as they were fixing it up and getting it ready, they wanted to hand out candy there because there's an event down in Fountain Square called A Scare on the Square. And the Business Association of Fountain Square puts together a map of participating businesses that are in the Fountain Square area, and the kids get the map on the square by the fountain, and then they go to the different businesses. And it's kind of fun because they can just participate in kind of like a scavenger hunt almost. So she said, well, we're handing out candy at the shop, and if you would like to come down and join us, you can, but I have to hand out candy at the shop. So I thought, well, okay, going down there with 2 kids around dinner time is a lot of work, but it would be so much fun and better than being home by ourselves. So John got all dressed up, and I bundled Arthur up because it was really, really cold, got them into the car. We got John's bucket of candy that he was going to hand out to the other kids, and I decided, okay, forget dinner. This is enough getting the kids all ready and outdoor. Let's go through the drive-thru at McDonald's. Let's get chicken nuggets and French fries and Happy Meals. So we went through the drive-thru, and I quickly noticed that there was a lot of traffic. And I thought, oh no. And it started raining. And I thought, oh no. But we got the Happy Meals, we got them somewhat unloaded, although I wasn't able to get Arthur set up with his meal. And so I get on the highway, and it's still raining, and all of a sudden it turns to sleet, and then all of a sudden we hit a ton of traffic, and then all of a sudden in the back of the seat of the car I hear, Mom! Arthur's stealing my food! Mom! And at that moment I'm thinking, what am I doing? Oh, you can't pull over. It's too dangerous to pull over. So I said, well, give him one, and I'll give you a chicken nugget from his Happy Meal when we get there. So that seemed to pacify them for a while, and I had a story to turn on in the car. So what should have taken 20 minutes to get there ended up taking 40 minutes to get downtown. Because of the traffic was really snarled because of the sleet and the snow. And it wasn't a lot of snow, but it was kind of the first little drifts of things that were coming. And the rain and the sleet before had kind of made everything slick. So when we got down there, I got the kids unloaded, and it was great because in the shop they had the heat going, even though they're still working on all of the inside still. They had heat, and they were able to open up one of the big bay doors, and they had hay bales and then candy to hand out, but we were able to be inside and then hand out candy and be outside, and so it worked out really well, and it was a ton of fun. So I think that definitely that is what we want to do next year, do the Scare on the Square. And I told my sister next time I'm going to bring soup and a pie and a bottle of wine, and the adults can have a party too. So we did come home, and it was only about 6:30 by the time we got home, because the Scare on the Square is from 4 to 6, which is nice. It's early, it gets the kids out, and then home safe by the time it gets dark, so that was really good. But the kids were just coming around our neighborhood at 6:30. I mean, kids like to go in the dark. So I'm making my dinner, and the kids are playing, and John's answering the door, and I'm going to answer the door with him as well. And then I realized, oh no, Arthur needs to be put to bed. It's now 7:15, 7:30, and he's tired. He needs to go to bed. And I thought, how am I going to do this? Answer the door, hand out candy, and put Arthur to bed. So the doorbell rang twice while I was putting Arthur to bed, so I just grabbed him. He was half naked, poor baby, ran down the stairs and helped John open the door. I just thought an adult should be there. You never know. I don't know. A 5-year-old answering the door? I don't know. Anyways, so once he was half naked, and I ran down the stairs and helped John answer the door, and then the other time he was drinking his bottle, and we ran down the stairs and opened the door. So it worked out. It worked out. But it was a bit funny and a bit crazy. But it was definitely an adventure. So I hope your Halloween, wherever or however you celebrated it, was a lovely one and full of good adventures. But anyways. And then another adventure that we went on, I shared with you guys really briefly on YouTube. It was a walk in our woods. We live really close to Eagle Creek Park, and we can walk there on warm days, but usually on cold days we drive there. And this time John wanted to take a picnic. One of the things that we love to do during winter time is to take winter hikes and winter picnics. I don't know, I grew up doing it. My dad would take us out, and we would go hiking in the snow, and my mom would make a thermos of hot Jell-O and cookies, and it was just fun. It was just fun to get out and see the woods at a different cycle in the season. So we've been doing that with John for a long time, and now we've started to do it with both of the kids. So even though it was cold, it wasn't too cold, and we were bundled up, and we had hot cocoa and popcorn and cookies, and I think people think we're crazy, but it's fun. So anyways, that's what we've been up to. We have some postcards to share. This is a lovely one from New Hampshire, and from Karen, and it's snow, skiing, of course. I was born in Vermont, and my cousins still live there. My grandma lived there on the other side of the notch from the Chat Family Lodge, which I'm sure some of you know as a great ski place. So my parents grew up, my parents, when they lived there, they did a lot of cross-country skiing. They could go cross-country skiing right in their backwoods. So when we would go visit my grandma, she worked for Rossignol Skis, and so she often, she just had Rossignol skis in her garage, so we would go cross-country skiing too, and that was always so much fun. So that brings back great memories. John loved it, so thank you. And this one is from my sister-in-law. She just took a trip with her husband to Brussels. So she said she can't say enough lovely things about the beer and the chocolate. Doesn't that sound fun? What a fun trip. They are over in Germany right now, and he is working for the company that he worked for here in the States, but over in Germany. It's a German company. So, hi, Alicia. And then Gina of Brownie Knits. She was coming across some old postcards of hers that she picked up when she went on her honeymoon to Italy with her husband. So this is fun because they're a little bit older, not that older, but they are a little older renditions, but they're beautiful. So it was fun. Again, we have put them up. We're putting them up around the world map down in John's playroom. And again, it's for him to conceptualize the idea of the world is a wonderful place to explore, and there are real people that live all over. I think, and I've mentioned this before, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing the postcards, little kids have a hard time conceptualizing how big the world is and yet how easy it is to go explore, and there's beautiful things to see, and that they are just a part of a larger thing, and so those are some concepts that through these postcards John is getting, and he loves getting them. So thank you. If you guys want, if any of you want to send in a postcard, just PM me on Ravelry, and I can send you our address so you can send a postcard to John. But it's fun to share the postcards with all of you too, so that you can see different viewers and where they live. So that's great. There is another thread that I set up in Ravelry, and that is for the Lady Louise cowl right here, which is the last pattern that I just released. And if you are working on it or have cast on for it, that is a thread where you can post your pictures. And post your pictures. We'd love to see what color yarns you've chosen, what yarns you've chosen, because some, substitute any yarn that you want to do. It's just fun to see what people come up with. And there will be a prize for that, but I'm going to leave that. That's going to be a longer thread that will be going for the next couple of months, because we're going through the holidays, and we're all doing holiday knitting, aren't we? We always say, no, we're not. No, we're not. But something always gets cast on. I mean, it's just the season. It just has to. So, what have I finished, and what am I working on? I finished this. I showed it to you guys before, but I had done a thinner band, and I wanted to do a thicker band. So this is my sock yarn sweater, and it's just all my leftover sock yarns from shawls, from socks, from Fair Isle, from stranded knitting that I've done. So it's like my cozy memories cardigan. Rather than a cozy memory blanket, it's a cozy memory cardigan. And I love it. It's the coat of many colors. It's like a Joseph coat. I should call it the Joseph cardigan. There isn't a pattern for it. It's a fairly simple, just top-down raglan cardigan. But it was so much fun to do. There's a little lace detail. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see it. On the bottom I did larger stripes, and then I did lace, which was fun. But it's quite a well, you can't even see the ends of it. Yeah, but it's quite a long cardigan, which is a lot of fun. So I finished the band, and I've been wearing it, which is fun. Another thing that I finished, but I'm not going to unwrap it yet, is the next pattern that I'm going to release, and that's this shawl. I can't wait. It's been so much fun. This is, well, in my works in progress, I'm working on my third version of the pattern. So the pattern is written. It's been tech edited by the lovely Gina of Brownie Knits, and it's now with my test knitter, my lovely friend Carol. So she's going to test knit it just to make sure everything is a-okay with it, and then I'll release it. And I can't wait to talk to you guys about this one, because this was really a lot of fun. I'm really excited about this. But look at the colors. Isn't it perfect? I think that I'll be wearing this on Thanksgiving. So that's another thing that I finished. This is something that I just whipped up really quickly. It's gotten really cold this week, so I made a garter stitch ear flap hat from Purl Soho. It's a free pattern from the Purl Bee. And if you just Google Purl Bee garter stitch ear flap hat, you'll find it. And then I did some baby mittens, just the thumbless boxing glove baby mittens. Again, I didn't use a pattern, so I can't link to a pattern for you guys, but they're just very easy and very simple. I'm sure there's a pattern like it out there. But those are for Arthur, because it's gotten cold, very cold this week, and I realized he needed a bigger hat and some gloves. So in the crafting department, I had a craft night with my Mom and one of my sisters. My other sister couldn't come because she had some company, but we made wall hangings. I got the idea for making wall hangings after just talking to my mom about some of the ones that she made in the 70s, and unfortunately we don't have any of her wall hangings, which makes me really, really sad. So I thought, well, let's get together and let's make some wall hangings together, because then we'll have made some and together, and then we'll have some of Mom's wall hangings. So these are mine that I put together. I have a board on Pinterest full of ideas for wool felt hangings, and I think on Pinterest I am CC Knits on Pinterest, so if you want to see my boards over there, you can go over there. And these I'm planning on putting a twig or a dowel through and then hanging them on the backs of the doors around the house. I love hanging things on doors inside the house because it just makes things so cheery. And there's nothing like decorating for Christmas. So, and the snow on this one, if you can see it, they're buttons. I save all my buttons for clothing that's worn out, and my husband's shirts, I always take the buttons off before I throw them away. Then this, I finished the mittens. Aren't they so cute? Let me put them on. This is hand spun, and I just knew that I wasn't going to have enough for the thumbs. So even as I started to knit them, I was trying to think of ways to incorporate the different colored yarn that I was going to have to use. So I thought, oh yes, a crocheted edging on the bottom of the cuff, and isn't that cute? I used my own hand spun, and this is hand spun from Westfield Woolies. I used her fiber. I spun it up, and this was quite a while that I spun it up. But then it's rather a bulky weight, so I kind of used the Waiting for Winter mitten pattern by Susan B. Anderson and kind of modified it for the bulky weight. But anyways, that is definitely lovely, and I think I'm going to have to do some more. And I rather like the different colored thumbs. Isn't that fun? I think that's just so cute. So, anyways, I don't know if I'm going to keep them or if I'm going to use them as a gift. So, we shall see. In the spinning department, I did get the yarn, the fiber that I had dyed, plied, and this is going to be a gradient, 2 matching skeins, and these are for mittens. So they might be mittens for John for Christmas. They're orange and gray, although it's funny, it's looking rather blue on the screen right now, but they're orange and gray and very, very soft. This I dyed with food coloring dyes, so it was fun. Another thing to do with kids, dye wool with food coloring, so Mama gets to do something that she wants to do and the kids have fun. And then this is the beautiful, I did 3-ply, a Navajo ply of this beautiful pumpkin fiber. I picked this up at the wool gathering in Ohio back in, was that October, September? September, wow. So that's beautiful. This is definitely going to be a little vest for Arthur, because Arthur has caramel colored hair and he would just look so good in that pumpkin. And then I've been working on the other thing that I picked up from the wool gathering, and this is a mix of alpaca, Romney, and Corriedale fibers. It's a 3 mix, and there's 3 different colors. There's that gray, a brown, and a blue. So I am working on the other bobbin, and then I'll apply it, and then I can show you guys. So, what am I working on? Oh, so many lovely things. Well, I finally got a hold of the crazy yarn. Do you remember back in July, maybe, when I podcasted about this crazy yarn that I saw up at a shop in South Haven when I took my mom and my sisters up there, and that how I had gone back to South Haven with JK and John and Arthur, and by the time I got to the yarn shop, it was closed. So I wasn't able to get any of this lovely crazy yarn. But then I went to visit the Village Yarn Shop because Brownie Knits was having a trunk show, and so I went to go see her trunk show and visit with her a little bit. And there was a table filled with the crazy yarn, and I wanted to buy every single skein, absolutely every single skein, because it's just so exciting. I wanted to do a cowl for me, a hat for JK, but anyways, I picked up 2 skeins. We have to do some restraint, right? So this is going to be a sweater for Arthur. And there are 2 skeins. I'm going to do a yoked cardigan, and it's going to be really cute. So I can't wait to get working on that. But just to remind you, remember how I didn't get it? So I decided that I was going to make my own crazy skein. How they make the crazy skeins is the Shepherd Mill, and that's not the name of the mill, but it's Shepherd's Wool that puts this together. Anyways, the Shepherd Mill, they take all of the ends from the plying runs. There's always some left on the bobbin. Well, they throw it into a big box, and when they get the box filled, they run a line of just plying these guys together, of just the leftovers. So you can see, like in this one, there's several different colors, and you never know how they're going to come out. There's no colorway. It's all totally random and fun and just absolutely crazy. So at the end of spinning, there's always a little, well, when I do a 2-ply, there's usually some left. It can be a little bit, or it can be a lot, just because even though I might divide the fiber into equal 2-ounce portions, I spin one a little thicker, I spin one a little thinner, and so I always have a little bit left over. So I've been saving it on this paper towel roll, and all I do is I knot it on there and knot the next piece on there and then wind it up. So it's getting kind of full now, so I'm thinking I need to ply it soon. And I'm not too sure whether I want to Navajo ply it so the colors will be there, or whether, I don't know, I'm not too sure. So, but I am making my own. I'm so excited. But I'm so excited to have the actual real crazy yarn. Another thing I finished, I guess this is finished object still, is I made another needle case for my double points. And again, this is just an old sweater that's felted, and I took another piece and sewed it on there, and then sewed little holes for it, and then I crocheted around the edge. And this one is for all my short double points, mainly my sock needles. And I still have to put buttons. I'll put buttons so that it will close, just 2 buttons. And then you can roll it up into a roll. Because the wool sweater is felted, it provides really nice protection for your needles. So that was so much fun. I've been very frustrated with how to organize my needles. There, and then it's rolled up into a case like this, and it just goes into the bottom of my big knitting basket. So I was quite pleased. So now I have 2. One for my longer ones and one for my shorter ones. So that was fun. I made another project bag. I don't sew. I hate sewing, but I love having project bags. So this was I had a felted wool skirt, and I cut off the bottom because I'm making a table runner for Christmas, and I didn't know what to do with the top of the skirt. Can you tell it's the top of the skirt? Can you see the buttons? I don't know. It's kind of dark. So I thought, well, what could we do? And then I thought, oh yeah, put a zipper in the top, sew up the bottom, make little gussets, and I have at least a sock-sized project bag. So that is what I did. This has my leftover yarn from Arthur's hat that I just finished. So I haven't switched over to a new project. But there you go. If you have a plaid skirt that doesn't fit you and you want a project bag, just cut off the top and turn it into a bag. It's really easy. I'm crazy, but I love crazy. So I am quite thrilled with my crazy project bag. But I love plaid around this time of the year. It's just perfect. So this is a work in progress. This is the shawl that I can't wait to show you. So I'll just show you. This version of it is black. This is lovely Malabrigo sock yarn. And this was sent to me by Malabrigo, and they're so kind for their support for this pattern. So thank you, Malabrigo, and it's looking lovely. I can't wait to show you guys. Then, yes, Arthur needed some cardigans. So Arthur is getting some cardigans. So here we go. This is just a little navy blue one. And I'm going to do a gray button band around the top. And I'm going to do little elbow patches in gray and perhaps little pockets on the front in gray as well. So that's almost done. I have one sleeve to go and then the ribbing around the edge to go as well. So, and that is in my wonderful vintage tea towel bag from the year of my birth in by the Felted Flower Shop on Etsy. So my sister who makes these wonderful bags. I love them. So then this is the next. This isn't the last work in progress, but I can't show you every work in progress. This is an idea that I have, and just look at these colors. Can you see them? Okay, does that give you an idea for what I'm trying to do? It's some traditional colors in Fair Isle. If you are a stranded knitter, you know that those lovely colors are very traditional for Fair Isle knitting. So I am making something Fair Isle, and I can't wait to show you guys. That will be fun. Well, I think that that's it. The other thing that I have to do, I'm hosting Thanksgiving this year for a smaller group than usual. My older sister is hosting Thanksgiving for her husband's side of the family. So we won't have that group, but we will have my younger sister and my mom and some family friends, and it's fun. I love hosting Thanksgiving. It's just fun to get everybody together. And I don't know if I've ever showed you this, but you know how I love to make my books. Where's my book? This is my everyday book. This is my everyday book for fall. I always make one for Thanksgiving, and these just have, this book has all of our Thanksgivings in it. Well, I wouldn't say all. I'm missing the first Thanksgiving that my husband and I spent together. We were on our honeymoon because we were married in November, and I'm missing the following Thanksgiving. So I have from 2006. We were married in 2004, so I'm missing 2004 and 2006. But other than that, I have all of our Thanksgivings. And what I do is I write down the guest list. Here, Thanksgiving 2006. I write down the guest list. I usually write down the menu this was a rather big menu. We had quite a lot. Just listen to the desserts. Pumpkin cheesecake, raspberry pie, pumpkin pie, and gingerbread with lemon sauce. Oh my goodness. Then I put in the recipes. And usually they're recipes from magazines that I've clipped out for that year. So this was the recipes that I used for that year. Then here's Thanksgiving 2007, and then I start a new page. And who came in the menu and such. So that's this year. Well, there's one Thanksgiving in here. Let's see. This, I think, 2011. And that was such a fun Thanksgiving. Not only did I write down the guest list, I wrote down the timeline of what we did and when we did it. 2 p.m. Arrive and walk to the park. The kids have a scavenger hunt to pick up along the way. So we walked to Eagle Creek Park, and the kids had a scavenger hunt that they had to do. 3 p.m. Appetizers and hot apple cider. 4 p.m. The kids make collages with their finds. Oh yes, I had this whole thing set up in the basement where the kids could make pictures out of their finds that they found on the walk. From acorns and nuts and seed pods, and we made dinner, and then at 5 p.m. there was a movie for the kids because we knew that they would be exhausted, and then 6 p.m. was dinner. And after dinner, the kids put lights on the bushes outside. You always have to have something for the kids to do so that they don't bother you too much. Just kidding. No, kids need fun things to do. So I had lights on the bushes outside, and then we all went outside for the turning on the Christmas lights, and they loved that. That was so much fun. Then we had dessert. So, and then here's this was such a fun Thanksgiving menu because I took it entirely from the Country Living, November 2011, and it was a menu done by the Beekman boys. And I don't know if you guys have are familiar with, well, sure, everybody's familiar with the Beekman boys because they were on The Amazing Race, and they have their own TV show, and they were on Martha Stewart. So of course you guys know about Beekman boys. But they have a beautiful old farmhouse in upstate New York, and just Google Beekman boys and you'll find lots. But they have several new cookbooks out. Well, this was in 2011 is when they released their first cookbook. So they did a whole Thanksgiving menu. And that year, it was such a good Thanksgiving menu that I did the whole menu. Sometimes I cut from one magazine and I cut from another and kind of mashed my own menu together. Well, this menu was so perfect. I did the entire menu. It was that good. So it was fun. Last Thanksgiving was probably the worst Thanksgiving I have ever had. And that is mainly because Arthur was so sick. He was 6 weeks old, and he had an ear infection, and I didn't know it. He woke up, and you can't, with ear infections, you don't see any presenting signs. You don't see any, he didn't have a runny nose, he didn't have a fever, he just wouldn't eat. And the whole day he wouldn't eat. And finally, I was in tears, just in tears. We weren't with my family, and I usually ask my sister, because she has 5 kids, what's going on? And I got home. It was 8 o'clock at night, and I was in tears, frantically worried about this baby, and called her up, and I said, I don't know what to do. He hasn't eaten all day. He's got to be hungry. He's going to get dehydrated, because little babies dehydrate so quickly. And she said, well, call our friend Monica, because she's a nurse. She's a baby nurse, and she'll know. So I said, but it's Thanksgiving. I can't call her on Thanksgiving. And she said, oh no, she'll want you to call her. So I called her up and I asked her, and somebody else answered the phone, and I could hear all the family in the background, and they felt so bad. But I asked her, I said, Arthur is so sick and he hasn't eaten all day. And she said, oh my goodness, he can't go another couple of hours without eating. You need to get him seen right away. And go to a urgent care center, because they'll be open probably for the next hour or so. Otherwise, you need to get him to the emergency room because he needs to be seen. And she said it's probably just an ear infection, but he needs to be seen. So, so stressful. We found an urgent care, and it was open for the next hour. And so we just piled in the car. We still had, turkey leftovers and pie in the car. We piled in the car, and we drove all over, and we spent Thanksgiving night in the urgent care. So that was extremely stressful. So I'm looking forward to this Thanksgiving. Who knows what will happen? But hopefully we won't end up in urgent care. But I was very grateful for those ladies and the doctor that worked at that urgent care, and I kept on telling them, I'm so thankful for you working on Thanksgiving. So if you are a nurse or if you are a doctor and you have to work on Thanksgiving, I cannot tell you how grateful I am that there are people who do this. So thank you. Okay, I hear Arthur. So he woke up from his nap, so I had better run. But it was fun to chat with you. Oh, one other thing I did want to mention. Here it is. My mom's first book came out. Now she didn't write the book, she illustrated it. So I know a few of you have bought some cards from my mom, and you love her work. She's WatercolorTales on Etsy, and she does beautiful watercolors. I don't know if you can see this. Isn't it gorgeous? The story is about a snowman. And it is such a sweet children's story. It's so perfect in time for Christmas. So she did all of the illustrations in here. Let me see if I can get here. Isn't it so sweet? They are having, oh, don't you love, look at the snow fairy. Can you see the snow fairy? I want posters of these book illustrations. I mean, they're just the color and the faces of those kids. Oh, it's just so delightful. So anyways, I will talk about this again, and hopefully it would be fun to have her on the podcast, and then she can talk about it. But they are having a book signing this Saturday, that will be November 15th, at Kit and Caboodle in Carmel. And it's the book launch, so it's 11 to 3, and if you are local, you should come. It'll be fun. I'll be there for a little bit, so anyways, come out. It will be fun. If you want to, you can get the books on RoxyMorgan.com, and that's RoxyMorgan.com, and you can get these beautifully illustrated books. So, anyways, there's Arthur. He's really crying now, so I'll say goodbye for now, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.